movement. So is he the man to break the hegemony of the two dominant political parties in Sierra Leone?
I'll do more than break them. I'll defeat them. My objective was very clear coming into politics, that first I change the narrative. And changing that narrative means that people don't have to settle for the lowest common denominator. In other words, you just settle for one of these two because there is no other option. I gave them an option. I want to help create a dynamic, expanding economy that will create jobs and wealth for our people, and also an economy where the rule of law prevails and you have an efficient and effective justice system. Also, we want to see if we can now create an inclusive, free, fair, and just society. There is so much injustice in this country. When you see people deliberately, as a kleptocratic system, robbing these people of money every day instead of really providing basic social services, you know that that is injustice. Denying people clean water, basic lighting in their homes, food security, jobs for the youth, almost 70% youth unemployment in this economy. Meanwhile, you hear numbers of how much money is being stolen when you look at the Auditor General's reports. You know this is a kleptocracy of the kind we've never seen in our history.
You describe the system as a kleptocracy, but many others have come before you and describe the system using similar words, sometimes not the same words, but saying they are clean, they will make sure things are okay, and they are different. Why should somebody believe that you will be different?
Some of those coming in have been comprados in the system. Yeah, they benefited from the same corrupt system. They said they were going to change. I've been away. I come with no baggage. I have not been part of the patronage system of this country. I don't owe those obligations to keep the system, the machinery running, because that's what is wrong. Government is the biggest business in this country, literally, biggest commercial business. They give out the biggest contracts. So even those who have good intention to come and change it have already been sucked into the kleptocracy. They can't change what they've been benefiting from, or they've been compromised. I come here not to chase anybody. That's not my interest. Just to plug those leakages.
So you say you've been away, you are possibly fresh blood, you're new. But that, your opponents say, is a weakness because you don't know how to run a system like what we have in Sierra Leone.
I have been advising governments now for over 20 years on structural change, economic management, industrialization, pollution management, sustainability, energy policy. I come in with more experience than most of my opponents. But more importantly, what they say is the negative that I've not been around is in fact the biggest thing that is appealing to the youth and many in this country. Fresh thinking. Einstein said, you can't solve a problem if you use the same mentality that created the problem. We need new thinking. We need a new way of governance in Africa in general. This is the 21st century. We need to move our economies, to move into the digital economy, diversify, link up with global value chains. That's what we need to do now to expand our economies, grow and create jobs for the youth.
Okay, so now I'm just thinking you're running for both president and member of parliament. Am I correct?
Yes, I am.
And is this the first time ever that you'll be voting in Sierra Leone?
Yes, it is.
It seems very odd.
It is not odd. I have explained this to people. I fought against the one-party state here. I was against the one-party state from the age of 16, 17. I was against that dictatorship. I refused to vote for Shaka Stevens and his one-party state, on principle. And indeed, we were proven right. The autocratic system brought a civil war to this country. I left for overseas. When that one-party state ended, they refused to give us voting rights also in the diaspora. So on principle, under a regime like APC, I just said, hey, I will not exercise my vote if the basic fundamental voting and human rights of our people, a huge segment of our society, is denied. But now I'm back, and that's again the freshness. Within the first 100 days, we will push to give voting rights to our people overseas, that they can vote there.
Now, you've started mentioning what will be your major policy initiatives in your first 100 days, assuming you win power. You've given me one. Name me 4 others that you will try and push through.
I put up immediately a very robust economic management team, and of course, total fiscal indiscipline and deep corruption. quick economic management team, solid best minds you can think about. Second, I declare an education and social sector emergency. We need to build more schools. We need clean water and toilets in schools. We need to put 30,000 teachers back on the payroll. So immediately, we need, again, to train more nurses and doctors. The fourth one, we have to fight corruption. The biggest obstacle to development in Sierra Leone is corruption. The government has to know, Mr. President has to know, and the world has to know, his predecessor puts the nation first, not his party first. Mr. President has to know that he needs to leave back this country a solid democracy where he is not imposing his will. Enough is enough.